All right, everyone, we are here with a special guest. We are joined by Dylan Sprouse. Thank you for joining us, Dylan.
Am I waving to the camera?
Yeah, that one. If you really want to, or if you want to make a direct point, like something that you really want to stick, look right into that camera.
Okay. Yeah, this one was kind of hidden back here.
Yeah, think about something really strong you want to hit home about.
I don't often feel the need to direct point. That's
intimidating.
That's a strange vibe.
But if you do.
Yeah, if you find yourself in this interview wanting to make, because we're very serious.
Yeah.
Look right into that camera.
Very serious.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. Thank you for joining us. We're so excited to have you here. We are massive, longtime, lifelong fans.
Yes.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. So
I know. I've been tagged in your photos, or tagged in your videos for like years now.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Yeah. We've said some things. I was a big Zach and Cody fan. We'll get ahead of it, obviously.
Okay.
Who wasn't?
Yeah. Good, dude.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
Right, exactly. You should feel complimented by that.
Yeah, it rocked.
It did rock. It did rock. And you're here in New York celebrating the premiere of your new movie, The Duel.
That's right.
Which is super exciting. And it's in. What's unfortunate is this is going to come out and everybody won't be able to see it in theaters because
Maybe
it
not
is
in theaters.
tonight happening.
It
Screenings
is
are happening
today.
Today. But you are going to be able to maybe pop in to some screenings.
That's what I'm doing today after the. Well, first I'm taking a nap.
Okay, priorities.
After
First
this
I'm taking
interview?
a nap. Yeah, right after this. No, here.
Yeah.
On this couch
now.
next to Dobby.
It's a comfy couch.
Next to Dobby. That's a fever dream.
Yeah.
I'm taking a nap, but then for the rest of the night, I'm probably traveling around to different theaters. We sold out like 3 in the city, I think, so I'll just pop in. But we don't have anything planned, so I'm like...
I was going to ask you, what's your plan? Like, what are you going to do when you
know,
go into the theater?
To me, I'm worried it's just going to look creepy, you know? Like, I'm going to walk up and be like, hey, I don't want that.
You're just going to like tap some of the people on the shoulder in their seats? It's me.
Walkout song?
Did you like it?
Yeah. Do you think you'll come out before or after they see the movie?
I would prefer before,
Yeah.
you know? After is a little weird because then it's like I'm pressuring them into being like, what'd you think?
Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
Right.
Yeah.
Like, dude,
and then you can tell on their faces what they thought if it's at the
Yeah.
end. Whereas the beginning, like, they're excited.
It's also kind of like the ending's up to a little bit of interpretation too, which is fun. So I know it's going to be a lot longer conversations at the end.
So it's kind of a scenario where it would be really fun to see their reaction behind like a two-way mirror, not actually in front of their faces.
At a lot of our pre-screenings when we were editing it, we had people just arguing about it, which I think is great. Like as filmmakers, you want that. You want some sort of discourse by the end of it. But I don't necessarily want that in the wilds of New York City.
Right.
Yeah. You don't necessarily want to be in the room.
No, not necessarily. I don't want them to direct it at me.
Yeah.
Right.
If you had to walk into the theater to a walkout song, what would it be?
Oh my God. Get Low, maybe?
Yeah, get the crowd going.
That's wild, dude.
That's a great choice.
It's crazy. It also just doesn't fit me. So I think it's kind of funny.
Like, you don't even dance to it. You kind of just, like, slowly walk out.
Yeah.
Don't know what to do with my hands.
Everyone in the audience is like, we know that's Dylan's
We
music.
know that's him. We just don't like his song choice. It's really funny to me.
Yeah.
Well, tell us about the new movie, because it is, like we just said, The Duel. People will be able to watch it on demand and everything in August, coming up August 16th. So everyone can do that. But just let's hear about the new film, your character, the premise.
Yeah, so I've been doing this all day, so now I'm kind of like warmed up.
Right.
So the movie...
Change up certain things?
I can't. No, now that I've been doing it that way, if I change it up, I might just forget it all. No, the movie takes place and it's 2 best friends. They like gravely wrong each other and they decide to challenge each other to a duel to the death. Old-timey style. It's very fun. It's dark comedy. And I made this about 4 years ago with some of my best friends in the world. The co-directors and writers are some of my best friends. And all of the actors in it are very good friends of mine too. So this was really, it's the first one I've ever EP'd, executive produced. So that's fun. But this is probably the most proud I've been of a movie in a really long time. So I'm happy about this. I really want people to see it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you said it's the first time that you're executive producing. What was that like for you? Because it's totally different being able to like make decisions for the movie you're making.
Yeah, I mean, before, when you're acting, you're very much living in like a certain time period of production, whereas when you're EPing, you're all the way through now. Mm-hmm. So for me, this has been kind of an interesting dilemma to have, but it's a welcome one. I'm not sure that I would be EPing if it weren't for the fact that I was working with all of my homies. Like, that's not something that really interests me. I want to make movies with people I like. I'm 32 now, things are different.
32 is, you're up there now.
Ancient. It's ancient.
You've been around a long time.
Dude, it's ancient. I mean, now there's things like as soon as I got married and hit 30, like my ass crack is out all the time. Like, I swear, it's like my shirt rises up my
that's
pants.
The worst.
It's just, I'm becoming a dad.
Can't get your
wife,
pants to fit
please
quite
cover
right.
it up.
It's really heartwarming. I was saying this yesterday. It's really heartwarming that no matter what shape I'm in, she actually doesn't give a fuck. That's how I know I'm loved, right? And because I remember, I did these movies like this Beautiful Disaster and Beautiful Wedding, and I was in great shape, right? Like, I fucking cut myself up for it. And part of you is like, her husband or her boyfriend. Part of you's doing it for her a little bit. You're like, she's going to like this. I bet she's going to be very sexually attractive. Doesn't give a fuck. Yeah. Did not give a fuck. I was like, this? What do you mean? And at first I was disappointed. I was like, come on, babe, this isn't hot. I'm hot to me right now. She was like,
I'm enjoying looking at myself. Aren't you?
Aren't you? Shouldn't you?
Yeah, it's so sweet of her to love you no matter what. But at the same time, you're like, a little more?
Right.
No? Anything? Anything at all? So that's been funny. Yeah.
All right. Well, in the movie, like you said, we're going old timey duel.
Oh yeah.
You're thinking drawing that pistol from the hip, that kind of stuff.
Flintlocks, baby.
What kind of props were you guys working with, and how was it kind of like managing all of that? Because there's, swords and all that fun stuff.
No, we had genuine flintlock pistols for this. And those are rare enough as is.
Right.
But that is legitimately, you like screw flint into the actual mechanism, which ignites black powder and shoots a ball that you have to stuff down the muzzle. It's like, crazy. We genuinely use those. And that was cool to see. But as you can imagine, the people who have those things, like naturally, the people who collect those things are interesting characters, right? They're interesting people.
Right. So you have to like get those on loan?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not allowed to keep those.
Yeah.
No, I don't think the people would want you to keep those. No. I'm also sure they got a lot of other skeletons in their closet that they don't want you to know.
Right.
But honestly, really, to me, I thought the wildest part was just what they wore. Like outfits for dueling, which is a thing, I guess. Outfits for dueling are not conducive to dueling.
Yeah.
You're wearing capes and cloaks.
Yeah, they're getting in the way.
It's just a weird, it's a weird outfit to wear if you're trying to kill someone, I think. Well, I haven't killed anyone yet.
Yeah, right.
Not yet.
Yeah.
But
now that you're hinting to it.
Just stare off.
Yeah.
Like a Dobby.
And there's all different types too, because I feel like you see duels in movies and TV shows that take place during that time, but it is portrayed in the very serious way because it was very serious during that time when they were really doing it.
Absolutely.
And now you guys are taking more of a obviously comedic spin on that.
For sure. We're a dark comedy. But, I think that what we're trying to portray, like the very real emotions of going into modern people deciding to duel each other to the death is like, it's still there are some emotions there, obviously. It's also like we deal with a lot of ideas of masculinity in the movie, which is to say, like, I mean, part of the fun of the movie is watching these people you're growing to like, and you're kind of frustrated by they could get off at every turn and they just keep going deeper into it, which is true of a lot of my friends in real life while I watch them. So I think those are all kind of like the fun aspects of it. But suffice to say, when we shot the movie, the actual duel, which I won't spoil, but we saved it to the very end of our production cycle. So by the time that Callan and I, who plays the other duelist, were actually getting up there, you start to get a little nervous. And you do have weapons in your hands. So it was cool the way it worked out.
Yeah, you got to make sure everybody's, practiced. The right people are on set.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Is dark comedy like your kind of humor in general?
Yeah, I'm a weird guy. Mm-hmm. I'm a strange man. No, in general, it's all of my friend group has pretty fucked up senses of humor now.
It always works when your friends also have a fucked up sense of humor. Because then you kind of know, like, what you can say or can't say.
Our group chat's pretty lit.
Right.
It's pretty fucked up too, though.
You're like, I wouldn't love if anybody else saw these, but my friends.
Yes.
I'd go to jail.
Yeah. You're on a watch list.
I'd go to jail.
Yeah. Does it make you like in that sense? You said you're making this movie with some of your closest friends, and you're doing that. Is there times when you're sitting down, you're talking about the movie, you're talking about the script and everything, and you're like, this is really funny to us? Mm-hmm. Is this going to be funny for other people?
Right. Well, I'm really glad you brought that up, because the truth is, I don't think enough people are making things that they just think is funny.
Completely.
Totally.
Completely.
Mm-hmm. Comedy, it's kind of fell off for a little bit, and thank God it's coming back the way it is. I mean, I think part of what we're trying to do, I was talking to someone outside and we were talking about Indiana, right? Because that's where we filmed this. Part of what we're trying to do a little bit is just, we have no interest in making something that appeals to everyone. We have an interest in making things that are fun for us, and then we hope that people like it. And I think it will go over well. I'm not worried. But, at the same time, I think part of the problem with a lot of what we see in the industry now is that it's just everything seems like it's digested on a spreadsheet. And I'm like, this sucks.
Right.
And we went out to Indiana, and the way we got funding for this movie, just being transparent, is we asked for a lot of these funders out there. We're like, do you hate everything you're watching right now? And they're like, God, yes. Are you making anything different than that? And we're like, we're trying. If you'd like to join us.
And if you think about it, like Fran was saying, when you're with your friends and you're like, are we the only ones that are going to find this if the chances are, if there's a group of you that finds it funny, there's going to be other groups out there that find it funny. And it also reminds me of, like, I feel like there was a golden age of comedy movies that at the time when they came out were maybe not so popular, or like you said, like spreadsheet, like metrics wise, like they didn't do great numbers. But when you look back, you're like, that movie was hilarious. And you appreciate it a lot more as time goes on, like it kind of grows.
Totally. I also think in general, like a lot of the companies that were the studios that had those movies were also taking more risks.
Oh, yeah.
Just in general of what they were buying and funding and marketing. And I think like that also needs to change a little bit. There's a lot of stuff. And we address a lot of that in the movie too, which is fun.
Yeah, I feel like it always comes back around. Like it's like highs and lows.
Yep, exactly. Yep. So you said this is maybe the most excited you've been for a project. What has kind of been those ups and downs for you, just acting wise? Because, like you said, we've been big fans for a while. Disney Channel, take a break, you go to college, you do all that. You do some projects. What kind of has brought you back into, like, really, like you said, being super excited for a project?
Honestly, I think it was just kind of having a little bit more agency, right? But now that I'm an adult, that's a lot easier, right? Yeah. You can afford to be more choosy about what you make when you're an adult and you're the only one who really gives a fuck. But yeah, I kind of just wanted to start making projects and working on films in general and things in general where I just like the people I'm working with. I'm not going to torture myself on projects that I hate the people on. That's not going to be a fun ride, no matter how sick it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I might do that if it was like a fantasy sci-fi project and I got to ride horses and stuff.
Dragon.
Put me on a dragon and be like, okay, I'll make it.
I fucking hate that guy.
But
if you put me on a dragon next to him,
I look like I'm riding a dragon. I mean, I'm putting that on the wall.
Yeah.
But no, I think I just, you find the love of what you do by working with people you like. Yeah. And with this one, at least, it was just like, it was a bunch of those elements coming together into a project that we're all just very proud of. Also, we had Patrick Warburton acting in it with us, who is just one of the funniest humans alive. He told me the other day, he's like, I recently got back into doing comedy shows. And he just, like, at the age of, like, 64 or 65, however old he is. It's like, that's got to be the latest start in the game to start doing that. And he is genuinely funny enough for me to believe he's going to kill it.
Right.
I mean, he sold out, like, a 700-person theater.
I can totally imagine.
A solo
He's
show.
one of the most iconic, like, voices,
Right.
too. You
Oh,
know?
wild.
Yeah.
I was just talking about this, but more of like startup comedians who are just getting into it. I went to a show where it was like people of all ages. Like you have somebody in their 60s, 40s, 50s, then you have some like 20s, and you're like, I give people so much credit now for him, obviously very established, but still at that age.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
getting
just-
in front of people, you never know what's going to happen.
Just grease the wheels.
Yeah, exactly. Growing up, because you started acting at such a young age, did you have people that you didn't like when you were younger? Because now you've reached a point where you don't want to do something where you're surrounded by people you don't like. Did you feel that way when you were younger?
No, not on anything. I've been lucky enough. I mean, of course, there's like few things here or there, but I've been lucky enough to always work on projects that I've liked. In recent memory, I worked on one that, and I won't name names, but that was terrible experience. And I was like, I'm not doing this ever again. The vibe is all off. I'm chill, dude.
Yeah. So chill.
Chill out. No, it was all off. So now it's just an effort to do whatever the fuck you want.
Right.
And I'm happen to be lucky because my friends are also very talented. Right. Part of the benefit of growing up in the industry is that you can eventually meet people who are very multi-talented, and that's part of what we're trying to do down in Indiana.
Yeah.
Right.
Was there a time in college where you were like, I don't really know if I'll ever go back to it?
For sure. I mean, and that was part of my impetus to go to college. Right. And I went here in NYU. So I was, I did the 4-year run. But that was part of my impetus here. And I think it was just because, again, when you start at such a young age, you don't know if you love it because you've just been doing it for so long or you genuinely have an urge to do it. But after all of those years and after I realized that all the things I was also interested in had some form of entertainment value to it, I realized that I genuinely did love doing it. And it doesn't mean I like storytelling, right? I like that aspect. So for me, it doesn't have to be in front of the camera. I'm not precious. I mean, I rock in front of the camera, so I'm like,
You're like, I'm a fucking great actor.
I mean, you'd be stupid not to. No. But I think that for me was a nice realization to make. Felt like I didn't waste all my time.
Yeah, definitely.
When you first got to college, at the beginning of this, we started off by saying, obviously, we loved Zach and Cody.
Yeah.
You were like, it was sick. When you started college, did you feel that way, or was it kind of trying to shed that image at first?
I gotta tell you, I've never I don't think I have like a let's fuck with this guy energy. Not in like a fight way, but like no one's trying to start shit with me. I don't like give off like this guy's a dickhead.
Yeah.
I'm not giving that to anybody. So no one comes up and is ever really, I don't have bad experiences with people.
Yeah.
And maybe the way I like to describe it is like people come up to me like I'm their cousin who they never met. That is like the vibe I get. Where they're like, oh, dude, it's so good to see you again. Like,
How you been?
We've never met.
Right.
When I was in Boston, which I love that city, when I was in Boston, that's where the show was based out of, was in Boston. And I'd walk around Boston or shoot a movie out there, and they'd come up to me and they were like, hey, welcome back. And I was like, I've never been here. They're like, what do you mean?
That's amazing.
Hotel's right there.
You're like, you were at the Red Sox game in that one episode.
What the hell? I was like, I promise you.
I'm sorry to break your heart right now. I was not here.
I should just let them believe?
Yeah.
I don't want to tell them.
Did you ever go to Boston before, like growing up when you were on Sweet Life with Zach and Cody? Like, did you know what you were filming, what it had to do with?
Yeah, I have a cousin out there. This was wild. I didn't know I had a cousin until I was 20.
Okay.
And I have a very small family unit. It's like my dad, my brother, and I. And I'm going out to Boston. I think it was for like Penny Arcade or like a video game expo or something. I was going out to Boston, and my dad called me. He's like, what are you up to? And I was like, oh, I'm going out to Boston. He's like, oh, you should visit your cousin while you're out there. And I was
like, Dad, what the
fuck are you talking about? He's like, yeah, son, Matt. He's named after me. I was like, Ivy. I was like, how old is he? Oh, he's your age. Like, I have a same age cousin who's named after you that you never told me about until I was 20 years old. Yeah. He's like, yeah. He's always wanted to hang out with you. I kept forgetting. I was like, you're a terrible human being.
First of all, same age cousin is sick because you're like, we could have been friends.
Could have been friends.
You deprived me of a friend. Also, you now are the long lost cousin.
Dude,
that people haven't seen.
I was like, and by the way, he rocks. He's a like 6'3", bright red haired, face identical to my father, which is wild. Like his spitting image of my dad, and he's like a chemical engineer. I was like, this guy rocks.
Yeah, you're like, we could have been best friends.
We could have been besties.
You guys could have been triplets.
Dude, my dad just blew it. Because he forgot just dad shit, you know?
I just forgot. It just slipped my mind.
Right. Classic dad move. Oh, you know, they live in Boston. We never see them.
Right.
Yeah, they're
exactly.
They'll
come about eventually.
You guys had a little like mini reunion on the carpet for the premiere. Phil Lewis was there.
Yeah.
Which was very nice. When was the last time you saw him?
Out of all of the cast, I see Phil the most.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I just love him to death. He is truly one of the best human beings I know. And also one of the funniest human beings ever. Like, they never really allowed him to spread his wings. If people were to know how he actually talked, they'd go crazy. That's another guy who I think could really be a comedian, but
it's kind of like
when
like
a Bob Saget
I was just going to say
thing.
Bob Saget on Full House, then you watch him on Entourage, and you're like,
precisely.
whoa, Bob. Yeah.
No, it was great. I see Phil a lot, but I'm so thankful he came out to Indiana. And then it was very surreal because it's been a long time since my brother Phil and I have been together.
Okay. The three of you together.
Yeah, because I'll stop by like wherever Phil's house is at, and I'll just pull up and be like, hey, I'm around the corner. I'm going to say hi. But it's been a while for us to all be together like that. And we went with, it was me, Patrick Warburton, Phil, and Cole. And we went to a cigar bar, and we all smoked cigars and like talked shit to each other for 2 hours. And I was like, this is the best possible way to reunite with the coolest people in the world. It's like, this rocks. I'm going to keep that memory forever.
That's an incredible way to spend a night. You bring up Cigar Room, you bring up your brother. Have to know, when he did that Call Her Daddy interview with the cigarette the entire time, did you rag on him for that?
I mean, I rag on him about everything. I think he even rags on himself.
Right, of course.
It, right? I find it hilarious, personally. I also don't find it that big of a deal also. So there was a part in the back of my mind where I was like, am I also a deviant? Yeah. I was like, so what? He's just doing his thing. But I also vape. Right.
Yeah.
So like a very different vibe.
Yeah. I understand, like, if you're someone who smokes and you want to be comfortable in an interview, I think it's like the internet when they run with things and they're just like immediately they're like, oh, we're gonna rip him to shreds.
Just because five people decided that they were gonna make fun of it.
Yeah.
It was like, that was
then
it.
And honestly, the memes were spicy.
Yeah, they were.
I liked them. I thought they were hilarious.
Yeah.
They were funny.
They were hilarious.
Were you sending them to him at all?
Oh, for sure. For sure. I mean, I think you like posted a bunch of them.
Oh yeah. I mean, at that point, you guys have a great sense of humor. What we see online, it's like you have to embrace it.
Also, self-defeating anyway, so it's like.
In honor of the Olympics, Nick Jonas just talked about the Disney Channel games, and he said that he compared the Disney Channel games to Love Island on crack. What would you compare the Disney Channel games to? Because we were like, I'm not sure about that. We weren't
quite sure about that comparison.
We were like,
that's a really weird take, honestly.
That's what our take on it was. We were like, we were like, we're not sure Nick Jonas knows what Love Island
we were like,
is.
I don't know if he's watched Love Island that he knows what this means.
I'll tell you, I got to the point. So Barbara loves Love Island, right? And I'll be sitting on the couch doing my thing next to her while she's watching it. And I'm like the, it's like the trope of the dad who gets the dog he doesn't want, but then grows to love it. Like, I'll be lying on the couch and she'll be watching it. I'm like, oh, well, that kiss looked like it had a little more passion in it than I thought. And suddenly I'm like in it, I'm getting invested. Yeah. And now I've completely like drank the sauce with Barbara. But no, the DC Games was nothing like that.
Especially now, since you know what Love Island is. You're like...
Totally. you also can't.
There wasn't Casa Amor.
Compare. You can't compare any situation where it's like 90% 14-year-olds to a show like Love Island. You know what I mean? Like that's why not even close to comparable.
We were like, Nick Jonas has never seen Love Island.
Yeah, dude.
Maybe Nick was just a little more advanced.
Right. Nick had Miley, Selena. He was like, I'm in a different ballgame.
Yeah.
You were like, I was just running around with my brother.
Oh,
yeah. It's like, I don't know. There was other people from other countries that were on Disney just running around playing
also,
games.
it was in. This is the thing that they very expertly hid from everybody. It was every time one of those was filmed, it was in Orlando in August.
Oh God!
So it was just this fucking sweatiest swamp ass time. So like there's no Love Island in that heat.
There's nothing sexy about the Disney Channel games.
Actually, intentionally devoid of sexuality.
That is incredible. Also, hearing that Barbara loves Love Island just like warms my heart.
Oh, she watched them all.
Just knowing that she would be able to like sit here and just talk about Love Island for hours.
Yeah,
she loves it.
Gosh,
she loves it. I forgot what season she's on of the American one now.
Oh, yes. It's probably the most recent.
She's probably watching.
I don't think it's the most recent because she's caught up all in the UK one.
Yep.
So she I guess she hops around to all the different countries, Love Islands.
Yeah, same.
It's very fun. I find the UK one funnier in my opinion.
Well, so the UK one was the funnier version until this season 6 of Love Island USA was the most insane season maybe ever. Yeah. Comparable to the other UK seasons.
The interactions I find funnier on the UK version, just the way they talk to each other.
They're crazy
different.
The way that they talk.
Yeah, and you need the subtitles to kind of understand.
Yeah, some of them are like it's gnarly.
On really US,
it's a different language.
They've now mixed like Australians, people from the UK,
they've
mixed with people from America. So
they needed to do something.
I'm still gonna act like I reluctantly don't like it.
Yeah. You got really comfortable when we started talking about it.
So you're saying it's the most fun new season?
Yeah. What season? Where can I find that?
It's like the most, and there's like people from all over. Yeah. Okay.
That's disgusting. What channel is it on?
Yeah. Where can I watch it?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I better tell her to wait to watch it then.
Yeah, you definitely want to watch this season.
You'll definitely have to say that.
Another question, and then we can, lean away from Disney Channel for a second. Whatever happened with the Danimal sweepstakes?
Okay, I've been saying this recently. The answer has been online for like years. I think it's a case where people are more interested.
Not to see it.
Yeah, they're more interested in feeling like nothing happened.
We're choosing this narrative.
Totally.
Yes. Yeah. I'm specifically choosing the narrative that we don't know what happened. Meanwhile, I've never Googled what happened.
Right. It's funnier to be like, everyone says they don't know what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm never going to tell you.
Yeah.
Did you go on the cruise? No.
Am I allowed to say?
Yeah. It's up
I thought we liked the narrative.
No, but this is
Well,
really,
you just said you can find out online.
Yeah, this is really intense journalism. Did you go on the cruise or not?
I did go on the cruise.
Okay. Yeah. Really?
Oh yeah. I did go on the cruise.
Was it weird?
For sure.
As expected.
For sure.
Yeah.
I find that to be such a funny phenomenon too. The cruise with, like when either that or like now I think sometimes older rock bands do it. That have like a very niche audience, and all the fans go on the boat
with them,
and they cruise around for days.
I will say that
Seems dangerous.
I've been on only 2 cruises in my life, and every
that
cruise
feels blasphemous.
Right? No. Also not in Boston.
Yeah.
The show with not a real boat.
You're telling me you've only been on 2 cruises?
Yeah, I've had enough of those. I don't think I'm going back. I also genuinely have a fear of the deep, dark sea. That is something that I'm not about.
100%.
Like when people ask you if you would rather...
We just had a conversation about diving recently.
No, fuck that.
Would you rather be thrown into the middle of the ocean with, I don't know, I would say just like a kayak, or in the middle of the woods?
Woods for sure.
Mm-hmm. Woods
for sure. There's so much more you could survive with.
Yeah, there's so much uncovered in the deep sea.
The panic attack that would come on from just looking around and seeing absolutely nothing in the middle of the ocean.
I mean, the thing is that if you get in either one of those scenarios, one is confirmed dead.
Yeah.
And the other one is at least you have a shot.
Right. Yeah.
So I don't feel like it's fully a fair question.
No, it's not.
Right.
And it's like, because you
the
only...
woods, but you can't leave.
You only hear
you can't
about
run in any direction.
You only hear about it ending badly in real life in the movies, somehow they're always saved. Like, but we're not all going to be Tom Hanks, you know?
Right.
So
That's true.
There was a story recently, this is dark, but there was a story recently about a guy like drunk as hell on a dare with his homies, was like, jump off the side of the cruise ship.
Yeah.
Jumped off and just was immediately gone
Yeah.
forever,
Yep.
right? And when they were like, oh, okay, we got to tell the captain to go
now
get
it's
him.
like, stop the
It's like-
boat.
They're
go
like,
get him.
no, you don't realize he's dead for sure.
Right. We're
Yep.
also on a cruise. Why would
Yeah.
you ruin the cruise for everybody like
Have
that?
you been on a cruise ever?
No.
Have you looked over? Okay, I'm telling you.
No, I've
You
never
just
stepped
say you said
foot.
you
I've
never
only
been.
I've only seen them from the outside.
When you look over the edge of the cruise, there is what I would describe as the call to the void. You are looking at like the scariest part of the earth churning this like massive dark wave at you, and it's truly horrifying. So I would not, that first off, the guy who did die, that was sick as fuck what he did. Honestly,
Yeah,
to do it like a
really.
flip off the side.
Yeah.
He died in like the craziest, like he's going to Valhalla
He-
for
right.
sure.
He did it for the boys.
He did
but
it for the
probably
boys.
should not have.
Hard.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
That's tragedy. It's terrible.
Yeah.
But he also did what I would consider the scariest thing ever.
By far the scariest thing.
Yeah.
What would you do if you're on that Danimals sweepstakes and they're like, jump, Dylan?
I was close. I'll tell you what. I was close to doing that.
Oh my God.
That's oh my God, it's actually so scary. Cruises scare me.
It's
And
also
the same with
filled with ancient people.
Yeah.
That's another thing that they don't talk about
Yep.
a lot. You go on there and the average age of people on there is like 73.
Yeah. It is definitely enjoyable. But I was always jealous of sometimes there was the kids are like teenage kids.
I know where
they
you're
made their
going.
cruise friends.
Always.
Like there was people that they
came
go
back
on
with
cruises.
their cruise friends.
There's teenagers. There you'd have a cruise, maybe a cruise boyfriend even when you left.
And then you almost.
Vacation hookups are wild.
Yeah. And you like wouldn't really believe your friend. You were like, okay, who is he? He's my cruise
it's like
boyfriend.
it's like I met
He's
the girl
from
at camp.
Canada.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
You're not going to know him.
Exactly. I met him at camp. He doesn't live here.
No, I mean, I know a few buddies of mine who have hooked up hard on cruises. I think it's
Yeah.
like also
It's a
kind
cruise
of
culture.
I think it's also kind of like a swingers thing too.
Yeah.
Like I saw a lot of that shit
Yep.
going on.
I think that's gotta be. 'Cause
Totally.
There's
Right?
no escape.
Yeah, it's like the Always Sunny skit. The implication. Dude, it's like it's a strange vibe. Cruises
Yeah.
are weird.
Yeah.
They're weird. They're for
100%.
horny, creepy people.
Yeah. And it's funny because Rhea and I actually love talking about them. We've never been on one.
Right. We've talked about
we just-
cruises a
we're
lot, but have
fascinated by
yet
them,
never been on
but
one.
yet
I'm
have
not a
never
guy.
gone on
I
one.
won't recommend it to you.
Yeah, right.
I'm not a guy. Like I don't feel.
I haven't picked up on the fact that you would recommend a cruise.
Yeah, good.
You're
good.
very anti-cruise, is what
frankly,
I'm picking up
I'm
on.
anti-deep water with
Yeah.
a bunch of old people. That's not what I'm about in general. And you can put that on my tombstone.
Right.
All
'Cause
of ours.
if
I
you guys are
wouldn't sign
going-
myself up for that
Right.
either.
Right. If you're going down, they're like, well, at least it was a long life. But you're like, I'm young. I've got so much life to live.
I haven't even swung once.
Yeah, yes.
What the hell? I didn't even know what that was for.
I don't know how we even got to Danimals.
Obviously, it was because of the
We
Danimals.
did want to ask you because, like you said, you have a stunning, beautiful wife,
I do,
and
yeah.
you guys
Lucky man.
are adorable.
Yeah.
And we love seeing your content together. The two of us are getting married in the
Yes.
next year, calendar year, not to
you.
each other, but to
Yeah,
men.
people were confused by that.
Yeah, and I say that we're
No, I
getting
think
married.
it's like
you know?
fun when you're ambiguous about it.
Yeah. Yes.
We just went to.
Because sometimes we'll notice especially when I phrase it like that, we're getting married this year. I'll see them. They look. Oh, she's up. They both have rings.
They both
Yes.
engaged
And
to each
yeah.
other.
Yeah.
And we just went to Fiji for work, and it kind of looked like we were on our honeymoon together. It's like, there's just like, we spent a lot of time together.
That's fun.
Yes,
Honestly,
yes.
That rocks.
So I wanted to ask, while we're in the wedding process, do you have any wedding planning advice? How involved were you? You can say
I will
you didn't.
say, yeah. I will say only a wee bit. But our lives were made a little easier. Barbara's family in Hungary owns a wedding venue. So a lot of the work was taken
amazing.
out on the
Laid right
merit
out there.
of that. That being said, there was still a lot of planning and going into it, and I give that fully crediting my wife for that. I think I was able to wrangle up my friends, and even that was stressful enough for me to get my dad overseas. That's hard enough to do as is. But no, my wife did all of the planning.
Did you get to bring your long lost cousin or?
No, sadly no.
He didn't make it.
Sadly, sorry, Matt.
He's somewhere in Boston going,
what
again.
the hell?
Oh no, I mean, it is funny. I feel that way, but then there's like certain things, like maybe they're like Barbara's like you're in charge of your friends. Like you got to figure out a way to get them from A to B. I say the same thing to my fiance. I'm like, you're groomsmen, you're guys.
Right.
They got to be able to figure it out.
Yeah. I will say though.
Did you pick out what you wore?
Yes. I mean that is something. That would be crazy.
But I would also.
Some people don't.
Are you doing that?
No. He's picked.
No.
But I'm saying I have friends that have basically dressed their fiance in exactly what they wanted.
I trust that my fiance will pick.
Yeah.
We wanted a pretty like low key traditional wedding though. But Hungarian weddings are very different from American ones. They're a lot more fun, I think. There's like games that get involved.
Oh,
and,
that's
like,
amazing.
You party until like 6 a.m. afterwards. Here's one piece of advice I will have for either you or your respective hubbies is, especially for the husbands or the wives. It could be either way. Don't drink the day of.
So I've been thinking about this, right? Because I have thought to myself that I would maybe have a glass or two of champagne.
Fine.
But probably not be drunk. Because
you don't want to be.
In the biggest moments of my life already, I have not been drunk. You know, and I feel like because then I can really feel every emotion. And it's like, you know,
you're gonna want to remember
glass of champagne here and there.
everything.
But I don't want to be the person that's like throwing up the next day.
No.
You know?
No. I mean, for example, Barbara and I took our first drinks at 4 a.m. when all of the parents had went to bed and the family had gone to bed and everything. But I will say I'm really thankful I didn't. Because it's, by the way, it is an environment that you have to fight not to, because everyone is trying to drink with you at your own wedding.
Yeah.
Here's a shot. Here's a shot.
You want a beer? You
Yeah.
want this?
Can I get you anything?
They almost want you to be fucked up.
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
Because I've been at
everybody else
weddings.
is.
Yeah. And I've
sloshed.
been at weddings where either like just the groom is fucked up or
That's
just
not a good look
no,
either.
and it's and you're never going like, yay for them. You're like, ooh, I don't know where this is headed. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one piece of advice I want to give, and that's
I think that's
to
good
everyone.
advice. Yeah.
This is your moment.
This is my moment.
Yeah.
That's to everyone. I think it's just better. Also, you're just like, there's so much to do that day, and we like Hungarian weddings are pretty low key. Again, we had the ceremony, we had our first dance, we have the stuff, but like, you got a lot to do and a lot of people to mingle with and talk to. So just
you might not even find the time.
Honestly,
did you find the time to enjoy the food?
I didn't feel much like eating that day very much.
I feel like that's all people talk about that a lot too.
Yeah, I didn't feel much like eating that day.
Which is another reason why people shouldn't drink them.
It's a good point.
Yeah,
it's a good point. But I did have a little bit. You have to have a little, fuel
you got
yourself.
The stuff that you picked out.
Yeah,
you want to try.
Well, the pictures were absolutely stunning, and
also another thing my wife organized.
Yeah, and we.
That's like you're like you.
Yeah,
and she trust
obviously
you with that one for sure.
Has the vision. Supermodel, gorgeous, beautiful.
Gorgeous.
And we're so happy for you guys.
Yes.
You guys, we don't know you personally, but you seem like a fantastic couple.
Well, just like you said,
My
people.
phone background.
No,
actually,
just like
still.
people.
Is it?
Yeah, but on the
She
wedding
is
day.
gorgeous.
Oh,
Love that.
she's
Your
just
phone matches
so
your outfit
gorgeous.
perfectly right now.
Yeah, I didn't plan that. I just like green.
Little G.I.
But
Joe.
no, I feel like it was just exactly what he was saying, that people are like act like they know him. It's like we're so happy for you.
We're so happy for you and Barbara.
It's like so happy it worked.
We're so happy for you guys.
Oh,
so
come on,
great.
cuz.
But, yeah, we're so absolutely.
Thank
but
you.
it's great.
So adorable.
And we're pumped for the new movie. Everybody can go check out The Duel on digital and on demand August 16th. Like I said, if you saw it in a screener, you may have had a surprise appearance from Dylan already if you were there.
To get low.
If not,
So long ago now.
If you were there, if not, you can watch in the comfort of your home on August 16th.
There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you so much, Dylan.
Thank you guys
Thanks,
for
Dylan.
having me.